I just want to start by saying a big shout out to Yuko for the video idea, and also a big shout out to Jailbreak Moments for some of his speedruns. With that being said, I wanted to destroy their records and create a truly perfect run. First robbery I want to take on is the power plant. It's the most unique robbery and it has a lot of parts. First you have to do puzzles that are actually unique, then you have to do the parkour. While not too hard, sometimes it can trick you up. And then finally, you have to do the turn-in. Unlike other turn-ins, depending on how fast you go, you can actually get more money. And if I want to get the record, then I have to do every part perfectly. Meaning that I need a perfect start, and then I need a perfect puzzle, and finally, I need to do the turn-in perfectly. As per the rules, I'm going to be using the speedrun.com rules, and I'm also not going to be doing any glitches. It's been 2 years since the last world record, and since then, Jailbreak has changed significantly. Even since Yuko's video, many things have changed. In a recent Jailbreak update, they moved the military base, and it completely destroys the end of the previous route. They also removed a lot of glitches, and while it doesn't affect this run, it's something to keep in mind for other robberies. So how exactly do I plan on beating the world record? As for the start of the run, there's not much to improve. Yuko uses a glider and goes in through a back door to get to the puzzle faster, and while it's not exactly against the rules, I wanted to do my runs without any help, even from alts. I knew I could save a second or two on the world record by taking slightly better lines, and not hesitating on any of the puzzles, but I also opted to not use the glider, as the time gain seemed marginal. I also later discovered something that made the glider completely useless. But even with a perfect start, when you take the ramp with the volt bike, it loses a lot of speed. And even though it doesn't seem like that much, when you're going for the world record, every little bit counts. I could opt to use the jet like Yuko does, but I still thought there was potential with the volt bike. And maybe in a different route. Many people think that this is the fastest route to rob the power plant, but I've always thought there was potential in a different route. Just like with the ramp, when you go off this cliff in the volt bike, it loses a lot of speed, and I thought that if I could keep that speed, then I'd be able to beat that route. I had some pretty bad ideas, but it turns out the fastest way from one place to another is a straight line. I did a couple fake runs of my route to see if it was actually faster, and I was right. When comparing the two runs, my route was a second faster. You might have already noticed that some of my runs are during the fall update. I've been working on this video for a while, and I wasn't actually able to find my original comparison. I even have a video of this route from a year ago, where I used the eclair because I thought that maybe the max speed would make it faster than the volt. But anyway, using my new route, I was able to get a bunch of runs. All of them were pretty close to the record, but none of them were close enough to beat it. I knew that I needed something a bit more, and the one place I was losing to the world record was the ramp. Maybe there was still a way that I could preserve my speed over the gap without going over the ramp. I threw myself at the gap a bunch of times, and out of nowhere, I finally figured out something that worked. By falling down and hitting the terrain, I was able to get just enough height to make it around the fence and onto the railroad. This jump is super precise, and any mistake would put me in the water. But if I hit it, then it was just the right amount of time to beat the world record. And with that, I had all the pieces to beat it. I just had to do it. and after grinding for a couple hours with my new strat, I had done it. A 107.367, beating the last world record by about a second. But why stop there? This run was nothing special, and during one of my runs, I discovered something insane. What is this? Oh my god. What? I was struggling on the puzzle, and then right as I was about to finish it, I got kicked out. If I had finished that puzzle, would I still have gotten kicked out with the uranium? I now had a new idea of how to destroy the record. But was this against the rules? If you look at the rules from before, the last rule says that robberies must not be pre-opened. This rule seems like something that's just copy-pasted between all the other rules. It's something that seems like only applies to the museum and the tomb. But with that in mind, I decided to go for it anyways. And after only a couple runs, this happened. Oh, please. I'm throwing. No. Oh my god, perfect timing. No! No way! Yo, that's crazy. No. That's crazy. Oh, and I do everything else perfect? No, seriously though, this run was devastating. After I got this run, I took a break. But with the possibility of a run so fast that it even ties an auto robber, I had to keep grinding. Getting a run with my new method was really luck-based. When it kicks you out, it puts you in a random spot, and if I wanted to get the fastest time, then I needed it to put me out at the back door. I started grinding again, but this time it wasn't as easy. I had hundreds of attempts, and only a couple of them were actually close to my new goal. I even had a couple attempts where mid-run I would get arrested by a cheater. In hindsight, I probably should have gotten a private server. How are you? What? But I wouldn't let that stop me. I knew I had to get the perfect run when all the stars aligned. Heavy. 6350. That's crazy. I was getting really fast at the puzzle, but whenever I would mess it up, it would always put me out at the back door. Every time I didn't mess it up, it would put me out front. I had a bunch of attempts where I was barely too slow on the puzzle and would get kicked out early. But I also had a bunch of attempts where I messed up the puzzle and it put me out on the perfect timing. Would I be satisfied if I got a 6400, but I messed up on the puzzle? Well, this might be my best money-wise, if I can actually hit the line. Time-wise, I don't know if this is it, but maybe. Come on, 6400. Let's go! 6400. The only thing left to do is to flex in the chat. Although I had done it and reached my goal of 6400, I did mess up slightly on the puzzle, and like I thought, it did actually make me lose time to a better run. Alright, this is the run, I believe. Okay. That was crazy. That run was a 1:01. Although this run was good, again I messed up in the puzzle. Getting the timing for these runs is really annoying, and by combining my best start with a good end, I calculated that it was possible to get a 56-second time. And that leads me to where we are right now. At the beginning of the video, I said that I wanted to get a perfect run, but chasing a perfect run might just be an endless cycle. Although I could definitely get a run that's a sub-minute, when I started doing these runs, I was just doing them for fun. And at this point, it's kind of getting tedious to grind them. So if you made it this far and enjoyed the video, then I would really appreciate a like. I also have some crazy ideas for some other robberies, so if you want to see a part 2, then comment down below. Thanks for watching. Bye.